Hey, welcome to Financial Friday. I'm Mr. Eric Watson, here to try to get you in and keep you in that lane to financial freedom. All right. And what I want to talk about today is wants versus needs. All right. Wants versus needs. And it is very important that when we talk about trying to get out from underneath debt and planning our financial futures, we make a serious um, differentiation between wants and needs, because those things can be crippling to a budget when we feel like, that thing that I actually want, and I try to call it or try to shape it or try to justify it as a need. All right. So we need to get our minds wrapped around making that differentiation and determining what we really and truly need to get by. And I won't even just say get by, what we need to live day to day, along with being able to knock down the debt that we have and being able to, be successful with our financial planning as we move forward towards our futures. All right. And one thing that helps with that is, um, if you've ever seen Maslow's hierarchy of need, okay, Maslow's hierarchy of need shows um, different levels of what motivates people in their day-to-day lives. All right, it suggests that people are motivated by these five areas in life. Okay, at the bottom you see psychological needs. All right, psychological needs, then safety needs, then love and belonging, esteem, and self-actualization. Excuse me. All right. Now, when we think about wants and needs as it relates to finances and financial planning, I think we can rest easy that the bottom two, the psychological needs and the safety needs, are the ones that are more closely related to finance and things that you can really tie to a budget or finance and those type things. You can't really tie love and belonging and your esteem and true self actualization to a budget. But when you talk about food, sleep, you need shelter, and you need to feel safe. Those type things you can tie to a budget. So you want to think about those things when you're thinking about wants versus needs. All right. So to take it even deeper, when we think about needs, okay, we need things like clothing. All right. Everyone needs clothing. But when we think about wants versus needs, do we necessarily need the latest brand of clothing? Do we need the high-end clothing? Do we need the latest Jordans? All right. Do we need those things? Or are those simple wants? I mean, can we settle for some of the plain old Nikes? Can we settle for, just a no name brand shirt or, no name brand jeans or whatever the case may be? Wants versus needs. And when it comes to food, we need to eat to sustain ourselves. We need food on a regular basis, right? Those are things that we need. But do we need to eat out on a regular basis? Do we need Chick-fil-A? Do we need to go to that high-end restaurant to get that seafood dinner on a regular basis? Do we need those things? I think those are more wants. We need to be able to sustain ourselves. So it's not necessarily that you need the high-end things. You need to be able to have solid nourishment, but you don't need to go out and eat all the time. When it comes to transportation, wants versus needs. I mean, you need transportation to get back and forth to your job or wherever you need to be. You need to be able to get around, right? That, I would say, that's a need. A Tesla is a want, right? Do you need that high-end vehicle? Do you need some of those things that that kind of put the bling on what you do? Do you really need those things? All right. And those are the things, again, those are the things that will truly, truly bust your budget. And by the way, I do recommend that everybody be on a budget, but those are the things that will truly, truly knock a dent in your budget. So you need to watch those things. Now, I was teaching a Financial Peace University class, and one of the things that someone in the class mentioned is that they categorized a vacation as a need because it's a mental health break. What do you think about that? Now, I'm not here to say that's right or wrong, because everybody does need some sort of mental health break. But the whole thing that I'm trying to get through is that you need to ensure that you categorize those things and make sure you do some serious, put in some serious thought with regard to whether something is a want or a need. I have no problem categorizing a vacation as as a mental health break. We need those breaks, but you need to put that thought in when you are thinking about your finances. All right, you can't always, get the high, especially if you're in debt, right? If you have a mound of debt, you can't think about the high end things and the eating out all the time and the high end clothing and having the nicest vehicle when you're trying to dig yourself out from under debt. You just can't. You have to worry about the debt first, get that taken care of, and you'll get to the point where you can get those high end things, right? But you have to disseminate and differentiate between those wants and those needs when you are trying to get your finances in order. All right. And you have to really keep those things, be mindful of that when you're out and about and you're thinking, okay, should I go home and get something to eat because I have groceries at home? I have plenty of food, or should I just spend some money here at this meal? And when you eat out, you're not just paying for the food, you know that, right? You're paying for all the overhead and all that type of stuff. So you pay 10 times what the food is worth when you eat out, because you're paying for everything else. You're paying everyone's salary that works there and all that good stuff. So you have to make sure you think about those things. And when you're out making purchases, and the biggest thing that'll bust the budget when you're talking about wants versus needs is some of those last minute purchases, some of those things that those impulse buys, right? When you're out, you see something nice, you like it, gotta have it, and you just go in without thinking, was that a want or was that a need, right? Watch those impulse purchases. Those things are killers. And one thing is recommended is for purchases, major purchases, give it a day. Give yourself a day, think about it. And if you can come back the next day and say, this is something that I really need this. Okay, you've given that thought at least. So now okay, I've considered this. I now consider it a need versus a want, and you put in the time to consider it. But those impulse purchases kill budgets all the time. All right. And it's important that however you categorize those things, that you have a plan for those type of purchases. You have to have a budget and a plan for all those purchases. All right. So if you consider eating out every now and then a need, okay, put it in your budget and make sure you have it budgeted for. Some would, argue whether it's a need or not, but if you can justify and rationalize it as being a need, make sure you budget for it. Don't make, those rash purchases that are not planned for and bust your budget. And now you set yourself back a couple of weeks, a couple of months, a couple of years. If you make a major purchase, don't put yourself in that situation. Make sure you plan for all those things and make sure they're incorporated in your budget. All right. So I hope that helps someone out. Just consider your wants versus your needs when you're out there spending. I know it's kind of hard, and some people don't like to hear it. Like, I want what I want. Okay, that's fine. But you're also going to get the debt that comes along with it. Just understand, you can't have both. You can't have your wants all the time and want to try to get out of debt or want to get yourself in a better financial position So you have that retirement that you've been planning for, and all those type things. All right. So you have to set yourself up for success. All right. So think about those wants and those needs when you're out and about, and those impulse purchases and those things that may set you back financially. Just run through your mind: is that a want or is that a need? All right. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Everyone have a blessed and prosperous weekend. And remember, think about it. Is it a want or a need? And I'm gone.